Hello and welcome to our first round of videos. I will be talking about nature today. Mainly since we are in quarantine, I went over a bunch of plants and trees that are somewhat native here that we don't usually go over, just to improve our nature knowledge and skill. The first plant that I will be covering is the cedar tree. The cedar tree is a coniferous tree that is mainly used for making poles due to its properties. A good way to identify the cedar tree is by its layered needle type leaves that I am showing now. One other distinguishing factor that you could consider would be these little balls on the branches here. Though, this lobe isn't actually part of the tree. It's a fungus called rust, specifically cedar apple rust. This is a parasite that affects certain trees, but is completely natural. If a lump similar to this occurs in nature on a plant, you should assume that it is most likely something similar that has to do with the surroundings of the tree, rather than the actual species. The final piece that would distinguish it would be its flaky bark, as you see here. This is another major coniferous tree, being the spruce tree. There are no spruce trees native to Pennsylvania, but two major types of spruce tree do live in Pennsylvania. Those are the Norway spruce and the Colorado blue spruce. They can be differentiated by color, Norway being green and Colorado blue being somewhat more blue, sometimes hard to recognize. To differentiate a spruce from a fir or a pine would be mainly done by the texture of the needles, as the spruce needles are particularly hard, especially in comparison to pine needles, and somewhat in comparison to fir needles. Though really what is most recognizable is the fact that the branches of the tree almost hit the ground, and there isn't really that much of a trunk. So, it's kind of is grounded. Another good thing that would allow you to recognize the tree would be its pine cones, which are short and fat. Red maples are one of two major maples common to the area. This tree doesn't have leaves on it at the moment, but the seed pods are a great way to tell what this tree is. The red, winged seed pods give it away quite easily, but the leaves are a great way to tell as well. They aren't on the tree at the moment, but the leaves have about three lobes that are pointed at the ends, as the leaves are similar but a bit smaller than a sugar maple. Dandelion is a simple flower that everyone knows about. It has a yellow flower and a distinctive leaf that is easy to recognize. It also has the distinctive puffball seed pattern that makes it easily recognizable whenever you see it. This tree here is a white pine. It is mainly differentiated from other major coniferous trees by the softness of the needles. They are put in clusters according to their species. 5 for a white pine, 3 for a pitch pine, and 2 for a red pine. The pine cone is also a good way to notice that it is pine. The cone will be more open than a spruce or fir pine cone. The tulip tree is a common deciduous tree that is easily recognizable by its leaves, as shown here. Its leaves have a distinctive 3 double-tipped lobe pattern. This is the sugar maple. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any leaves or seeds, but it could be easily recognized by the leaves if it did have them. It would have a 5-lobed leaf, which is slightly larger than the red maples, and quite distinctive as a maple. This is the eastern redbud. It has red buds, as its name suggests, but it also has a distinctive dark speckled bark that makes it easy to differentiate from other trees. The dogwood is a common tree that is easily recognizable by its leaves. It is not recognizable by its bark and buds easily, but the double dog ear-like pattern of the leaves give its identity away if it has them. On the flowers, it does have a distinctively green center that reveals its identity. The Japanese maple is not native to Pennsylvania, but is common and good to know. Its red leaves have multiple small slivers that easily show what it is. The fir tree is another one of the major coniferous trees. It has hard needles similar to the spruce tree, but its needles are slightly softer. The tree design is also different. It will have branches that bow downwards as it goes down and then back up. And they start higher off the ground in comparison to the spruce. Also, its pine cones are a lot longer than the spruce. The eastern hemlock is our state tree, and the easiest way to recognize it would be its flat needle-shaped leaves that give its identity away easily. The violet is a common ground flower that can be found pretty much anywhere. It's quite recognizable by its distinctive purple-colored flower. Bleeding hearts are a common decorative flower that can be found pretty much anywhere in Pennsylvania. Its very distinctive flower looks like a heart with white blood coming out of it, as the name bleeding heart suggests. Virginia bluebells are the state flower of Virginia, but they can also grow in Pennsylvania. They are easily recognized by their blue flowers, which form in a tube-like shape. This small sprig here, which I am talking about, is called either the wild raspberry or wineberries. It has distinctive red furry spikes all along it, and it holds berries which are edible, but are somewhat sour, and if you eat too many of them, can cause a bit of discomfort